So here we are, the 17th of July, and number one, let me just say, I just went and looked just now on Amazon, and Dan, brother, thank you. I appreciate the words you put in there and the fact that you read it and you're going back through with a highlighter. That means the world to me to see what people have to say. Again, go to Amazon and just go to the reviews on at Red Economics. You see the 32 5 stars and hit the most recent and check that out from Dan. It says finally a success book that doesn't talk down to you. Um, yeah, when people talk about success, you have to question yourself on success, and it's really, really, really hard to feel successful in the world that we live in today, and how people define success. You have to struggle to define it yourself. It's actually really, really hard as an entrepreneur, and I say this to a lot of folks right now, is to be able to get up excited about your day because right now the job that I have is running a hose on fires that I didn't start and confessing for sins I didn't commit. And what makes it difficult, what makes my day so dang hard when I'm firefighting the whole time and solving problems, nothing but issues constantly being landed at my lap. A lot of times the issues I didn't start. It was just something that somebody else got the wrong idea of and it blew up to something that shouldn't be. That you have to be able to find and believe that there's success being had, even though you're doing nothing but dealing with what looks like a crumbling building. Because what I find out at the end of every month, for every problem I'm handling, there's three or four that's just going through and getting done. Others get to experience what it is to have nice, smooth transactions. I get to experience everything that is just tough. So if you want to be a person who is an entrepreneur of sorts, you want to run a business, you want to have customers, be ready to be the problem solver. You don't always get to be the guy who gets the pat on the back. The people who really did it, those are the ones who are getting it done. Those are the staff members who are focusing and taking care of the customer, right? We need to take care of our client and what their needs are. And that's the whole goal. And eventually our needs get taken care of. So that's where we sit today. Now, of course, the same question's always coming up. And I even got that question yesterday from one of my key team members, Ellen. She said, "Hey, where do you think the rates are going?" Right now, well, what happened to them? Well, we had them going down because of inflation data, the CPI and the producer price index both looked awesome. Inflation was going way down. Traders like, hey, things are getting cheaper. Inflation's going down. We should be in a lot better spot. So they started trading more into the bonds because now they can put their money somewhere they think it's going to make a different return. Now, all of a sudden, we have things happen again overseas. And now you got them trading on what the future might be of energy resources. Because when you have energy go up in price, what else happens? Transportation goes up, costs go up, everything else goes up. What else does that create? More inflation. So a lot of things that we're looking at, which was the CPI and the PPI, now could be influenced by what's happening with oil. So because of that, now we're giving back a lot of those gains. So let's take a look at that so you guys can see exactly what I'm talking about. The main thing we always want to talk about, and of course I have to move around here and try and find, the screen and what's going to give me what, because, I'm trying to talk to you here in a different setting. It's not quite so easy to do as I thought it might be. So we're going to look here at the market and see what's happened here, right? So we had the benefit of the CPI, and then the PPI stalled out because we're bombing people again and all that kind of situation. That's having an influence here. Now, when it comes to these things, just remember, these are traders trying to decide what the future of money is going to be. They're not it's not a matter of banks trying to create these rates. It's what is the future, and is it going to create more in higher prices? Are we going to see these energy costs create a need to have an increase in the interest rates so they have a higher return on those long-term bonds? So what does that tell us? And for at least for you, right? You're stepping into that exact trade. You're not just locking an interest rate. You're actually on the opposite side of the trade. And you're trading into something that's going to give you 30 years. And if you look at anything else, I think you're nuts. What did Warren Buffett say about the 30-year fixed mortgage? He says the greatest financial instrument in history because it's a one-way bet. If the rates go up, you are protected. If they go down, you can refi if you want to. I'm not one that says you should. But what about the prepayment penalty? Some people will ask. Some people say, oh, geez, man, we got a prepayment penalty on this property. I'm going to be in this thing for the next 5 years. Guys, should you really be refinancing in a 5-year window? You need to ask yourself that. Now, the property value just spiked. Huge value in this thing. Let's say you bought it with a BRRRR, can refinance, get your cash out. That's the only time I advocate you should. But if you're just doing it because the rates went down, come on, you're getting suckered into some stuff. You want to understand that. You need to talk to me a little bit more. The investor who is getting in the deal for you, the person who put the money on the Wall Street, they're buying your payment. They're getting secured by a promise to repay and the equity in that house. And if you want to provide, you want to make sure you get that equity secure. There's other ways to look at that, and we can talk about that more. You are buying control. You're going to be buying control of an asset that's going to be paid down by somebody else. You get the amortization return. Do some numbers here. Let's say it's a $200,000 purchase. You put 20% down, that's 40 grand. Then you have costs. Let's say it's $47,000 you're into this deal. Somebody else put up 160 in the form of a loan. But who's paying off the loan? Your tenants. That's why it's important who you get, where you get the property. Don't go straight after cash flow. Cash on cash return is a small metric compared to everything else. If they're paying off that mortgage of 160,000, that's equal to $5,333 a year averaged over 30 years. That alone is going to give you double-digit returns, nearly 11% return on investment. Think about that. And then if the property is only going up by 2.5%, $200,000 property, you have a $160,000 loan, you invested $47,000. 2.5% is $5 grand every year. And that's a compound. It's going to be more than that every year at 2.5%. You're making another double digit. So you're over 20% return before a single dollar of cash flow and a single filing of your tax returns, those tax benefits. Remember, you're getting the asset. They just get the promise to repay that you can pay them off at any time. And I always say the person should. So stop asking, did the rates go up? Start asking, what's the best deal for me right now in our current environment? You're a trader. Make the damn trade and quit jerking off.